Anthony Stabile. Go over today's 8-race card, which includes a carryover in the late pick 4. You'll want to play these bets, as you always will on NYRA Bets. Head over to NYRA Bets if you're not a member. We'll match up to a $200 deposit bonus. Use the promo code Big A. And I believe the first thing we'll show you is that we have a $46,000 plus 46,314 in the late pick 5. That's races 4 through 8, free money in there. So you'll want to get involved in that late pick 5. We'll be talking about those races momentarily. Also, want to remind people we have a cross-country pick 5 tomorrow. That's tomorrow. It's the last 2 races here and the last 3 at Oaklawn Park. 8 and 9 here, races 7, 8, 9 at Oaklawn. About an hour and a half for that entire sequence, maybe an hour and 40 minutes to take over as race 7 at Oaklawn. I believe is shortly after our race 9 here at Aqueduct. Also, there is a million-point hit and split in the early pick 4 here at the Big A. Anthony, you ready to talk about today's card?
Yes, sir.
The first race today has a horse that's currently 4 to 5 and is expected to be a pretty heavy favorite, and that's the 4 Shannon's Girl. We'll go 2 back and show you Shannon's Girl hanging like a chandelier at Aqueduct, 6.5 furlongs behind Remembering Bobby. Now, maybe Shannon's Girl is one of these horses that today has sort of found the right field by attrition and will get it done, but she's a hanger on the turf and she's a hanger on the surface that she prefers less. But she does not have much competition today. She's the heavy favorite and the horse to beat, but not one that I think you or I want to put on top.
No, sir. Kind of felt like she found the right bunch. 2 starts back and got beat a neck and couldn't get the job done. Slightly over even money. I don't know if we felt that way last time, the first race of the year here in New York, decade. I can't take her on top. She can obviously win this race. She's going to be, like you said, a prohibitive favorite, and
talk about
I just need to go somewhere. Listen, this horse has gotten one real chance, I feel like, to run on a fast track where she belonged.
Well, what about the other 5? Well, she's been on a fast track 6 times and only sloppy once.
Where she belonged, right, without the blinkers. And
she was on in 20.
Off the layoff. I mean, you know, she's run races on a fast track off layoff stuff. I think she ran once.
Wait a second. She's been on a fast track September 11th, September 25th, October 16th, November 7th.
But I said without the blinkers, not off a 7-month break.
What do the blinkers matter? Didn't we go through the blinker discussion?
The 2 times she ran.
Didn't we go through this?
The 2 times she ran. Well, her best race is on a fast track 2 back without the blinkers, and it's her best race by far, and it's the race that I think gets her to the winner's circle today. Because I think she'll be forwardly placed at the very least. I mean, she should be on the lead in here unless Hickory Maid is just on.
What about her race on October 16th when she got a 42 buyer and lost by a nose on a fast track without blinkers?
It was a fine race. I thought the race last 2 starts back was
September 11th.
I thought the race 2 starts back. Well, the race on September 11th was off the break. I thought the 2 starts back when she had things pretty similar to the way it should go today.
We're spending way too much time on this race. I thought there were 2 horses that you could possibly take against Shannon's Girl myself. One was Hickory Maid, the new face, but she is 0 for 13. But her race is out of town, or they even ran her in a non-winners, a 1-2 back for whatever reason. She was a huge price in those races. I think those races are okay, and she's a player. She and Funderell look to be the speeds in this race. And I did think that the rail was particularly good yesterday. You didn't see a lot of horses on it, but I think those that ran on it benefited from it. And the 2 Stunning Beauty, who may not be able to run a step on the dirt. She has a pedigree that says she's a turf horse, and she absolutely did no running, basically eased in her only dirt race. On the other hand, Dave Donk brings her back on the dirt. He drops her down. She's a total new face. She's a wild card. She's not going to be 8 to 1. She's also probably not going to be 3 to 1. I picked her on top. It's a total guess on my part. Like you, I just think Shannon's Girl was a mediocre favorite, but the horse to beat, I would use 2, 4, 6. You like the 7. Race number 2, I had liked the number 7, Great Therapy, in this race, who ends up being scratched. I scratched into Maru. Now, I'm not Maru's biggest fan. We'll show Maru's last race where she lost to a horse that got left at the gate and was ridden hard every step of the way, and she just cannot finish. I mean, she had the race won, and she stopped at the end, but she may have found the right field by attrition.
She could have. I went to her her stablemate rather, Women Not Easy, who ran against the Colts first time out, and the American Pharaoh from Wesley Ward, and then tried special weight competition against the fellow New York breds. Next time out, we haven't seen her since May. I can't go to Maru. I can't go to anybody else in here. I'm going to take the other Rudy who's off the way.
She's the only other horse in the race anyone could take for what it's worth. 180-day layoffs in the dirt. In general, Rudy's not very strong. 180-day layoffs in the dirt with maidens. He's just 4 for 24. So overall, maiden claimers, he's 4 for 17. The ROI is well under $1. This is not a move that's worked for him, his layoffs in these situations. And she comes out of what is proving to be a very, very bad field.
Who's more likely, Maru or Shannon's girl today?
Maru.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, they're both similar.
I just took a shot against
Maru
both of them.
only has one horse in the race that appears to be able to run it all, whereas Shannon's girl could have a couple others. They're both pretty likely in here. They're both tough horses to take at short prices, but they're short prices for a reason. Race number 3 lost a major player when the number 3 Keep Your Distance came out. It leaves us, I guess, with Malarkey off the layoff that we both have on top. As far as Malarkey,
did you pick Keep Your Distance?
No, I didn't like Keep Your Distance in this race. I'm sorry to see her
that
scratched.
hurts you, yeah.
Malarkey, this is her 2 races back when she finished second to Moon Dance Joy. If you want an excuse for her last race, I think there actually is a viable one. She was right down the rail last time at Saratoga. I do not agree with that. It's a 2-path inside turn. She was right down the inside, maybe a smidgen off it. And that, to me, was a confirmed dead rail on July 26th. So I do think her last performance, she has a major excuse. I'm not her biggest fan, but I thought it was her Malibu Mischief, and I preferred her to Malibu Mischief.
Okay. I preferred her as well. One of a couple, the other one scratched, I believe, later on, that Linda had in for the waiver claim. I saw somebody mention to David last night why these horses weren't in for the tag. If you run for... Yeah.
The 180 days.
Right. So this horse just gets by. It's like 100.
Well, Linda's been running a lot of those horses lately.
Yeah.
there have been a few days over the
and you could say, like we said yesterday, it didn't really work. Maybe some of these horses were claimed to save for the winter, but we're a month, tomorrow's a
claim
reverse.
horse to be a first week in Saratoga.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Something obviously was a miss last time. I scratch into the horse. I like to Keep Your Distance today. I scratch into this horse. I guess she's one of the ones. The winner's likely going to come from 2, 4, and 6.
Yeah, I don't like cover photo. I mean, I have her third because you have to have somebody third. Brad Cox, for what it's worth. I didn't put these up because in my mind, A, she would have been a bigger price the tree was in. David had her 3-to-1 morning line. I never imagined she'd take a lot of money. I'm sure he's right, but she to me was just not very good. And the drop down numbers for the Cox barn are bad. If you want a 50% drop in the dirt in general, he's 10 for 43 overall. 23%, $1.11. Second off the claim, he's just 1 for 8 with an 89-cent ROI. These drops for the Cox barn, and I just think she was a bad claim. And, she's dropping back to a level where she already ran in the past, and she ran there for Rob Atras and Mike Trombetta. So I don't know why it would be assumed that Brad Cox would do a better job than those guys, particularly Rob Atras, who does such a good job with high numbers around here. And I think she's just dropping down to where she probably belonged.
I think that's the biggest problem in here, right? The biggest issue in here is cover photo's been in barns that do well. Malibu Mischief's been in barns that do well. Now both of these horses, one in Malibu Mischief right off the claim getting cut in half, cover photo second off the claim getting cut in half. Yeah, I agree with you. It's kind of why even after the scratch I back into Malarkey.
Race number 4. Race number 4 starts off the pick 5 carryover. The carryover $46,314. These are real carryovers that actually get paid out. The kind of carryovers many of us actually agree with and don't like, the ones that don't get paid out on a daily basis.
I guarantee you this is a real carryover.
This is a real carryover.
See what I did?
Yeah, it's a real. Those guarantees in Florida. Does anybody fall for them when they're $100,000 more
obviously,
than a
yes.
fake carryover? And
Obviously, yes.
Miraculous. Wow. Anyway, race number 4. Where'd you go here?
I went to My Michelle. I had a really tough time with this race. I don't know about you. I had a real tough time with this race. I almost put the horse you put on top
Why did you pick this horse?
Michelle ran this horse twice. Michelle Nevin ran this horse twice
got a
going
big run,
along.
Michelle.
Once off the top. I'm sorry.
It's starting to be. Her horses are, I mean, the maiden didn't run that badly yesterday.
No, I know.
Because
Listen,
in reality, that race came up very fast.
Listen, she started this horse off. Michelle Nevin started this horse off going along in an off the turf race, going a mile and a 16th. Ran this horse along again last time. Obviously, just turned 3 a month ago. There was no intention to ever run this horse in a sprint. And I think that's important with these maidens now.
What did you think of her last race?
Well, I mean, I thought her last race, she kind of just ran around there. And it makes me wonder.
So she was terrible.
Yeah, I know, because the second and third place finishes from the debut, she was third. Second place horse came back and won last time. She ran behind the horse again. I'm just hoping it's attrition. The first two are gone. She's next in line. I almost took
I don't agree at all with
Rosie's
attrition.
Invasion on top in here.
I don't think it's attrition at all. I think there's plenty of other alternatives in this race, and I've got her third, but almost by default.
Okay.
The two Saffron Girl is Linda Rice, second-time star, and I know two of them did not run well yesterday, but it doesn't mean in general that they don't win, and I think she ran well enough in her debut to suggest that her second start is a very logical horse, and I think she should be favored, and I think she will be favored.
Now, those second and third horses from that race last time, they're going to come back and run on the opener. I think it's the first or the second race tomorrow. Can't remember.
First.
It's the first, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't you feel like that number came back a little high?
No. Why do I think?
I thought those horses struggled the last quarter of a mile last time. I thought that number was going to come back
6
considerably
lengths
lower.
between second and third.
Yeah, I just thought it was going to come back.
I think it was probably a wet track that probably exaggerated
Maybe.
towards the front end. I think Saffron Girl is probably the worst to beat in here. I'll be surprised if she's not favored, but I've been surprised a lot. Rosie's Invasion, I don't love Rosie's Invasion, but I actually thought her debut was fine. She ended up chasing that day. First of all, she took a little bit of money in that race. And she ended up chasing New York Supreme, who, while she's gone the wrong way, and she's also gotten a couple of very questionable rides, particularly her last race, she's fast.
She's fast, yeah.
And this horse will be in front here for what it's worth. And maybe she gets a little bit brave. She certainly has a pedigree that says she's supposed to be able to handle the distance, so why not? Don't you see too many flying chevron
No, you don't.
dams, by the way? Winner of
The 1996
Cigar Mile?
Naira Mile.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Before it was the Cigar Mile.
Yep.
So I thought Rosie's Invasion was a little bit of the stranger that maybe you use. I don't like the one. I'm going to focus on the 2 and 5 as my main two here, and the 1 will be a C. I guess Take Charge Donna or Beautiful Karen somewhere in there as well.
Okay.
See how it plays out in race number 4. Race number 5, this is a weird scratch by Linda. Did she scratch, or did this horse a vet scratch? Because, geez, this horse was loose as could be in here.
Yeah, gone, right?
A much different race. You like Poshki. Why?
I feel like I got a little lucky with Captain Frost coming out of there now. I didn't see a lot of chase. I didn't see a lot of horses to stalk in here. I thought Poshki was going to kind of work out a trip right not far off of Captain Frost.
For a guy who thinks about wet tracks, doesn't this horse run better on wet tracks these
Yeah,
days?
but you know what? I thought 2 back and off the layoff in November. This gelding ran well enough on the dry ground.
2 back?
Say again?
2 back?
I thought the race off the layoff, and I thought the race 2 back was enough. I mean, he ran some bad races in the past on fast track, Andy. And
Not
at
too
least
many
now,
worse than his race 2 back, where he stalked a slow pace and backed up through the field. I'm not sure how you could support him off 2 back, but we'll have to agree to disagree. I mean, he and Where's Rudy are going to take some money. I bet Where's Rudy last time. I know he got wired. I know it was a theoretically better field. Rudy brings him back in short
quick
rest.
turnaround, yeah.
I'm not sure either of these two horses can run at all anymore.
I have no argument for that.
I mean, I'm not saying
I really
I
don't. I don't have
use
any
them.
argument for that. But you know, these bottom,
win.
these 8s. You know, this is certainly a race where I want to use a handful of horses. Mainly
I've got
2,
Business
5,
Cycle.
7. Yeah.
You know, Business Cycle obviously didn't run well, but I do think there's an argument. The Business Cycle does not like a sloppy track. I mean, the other race in the sloppy track was also very poor. The race 2 back was good enough to beat these horses. I thought he'd be in a good position, stalking maybe the 1 So Sublime. If that one and that rider's a little unreliable, then Andre Worry can be aggressive and maybe beat a speed in this race. And I'm not Business Cycle's biggest fan. I think he can make an excuse for his last race and his prior few races. They're just all figures that are faster than these. And I thought he was super logical. And then there's Holy Week. I don't trust Holy Week. I don't know, what to expect with him off a long layoff. Carlos Martin's numbers off of layoffs are not terrible. They're not great. We'll see, but he does have plenty of races that can win this race. So 2 and 5 are C's for me, and 7 and 6 are A and
Just
A and B.
you got to worry about the 10 months with him, right?
Yeah.
Coming back.
Yeah. He's got the bug rider, Louis Cardenas, who won yesterday's.
He can ride.
last
That
race?
kid can ride.
No, not. He won a race yesterday.
Did he ride?
He rode the long
big
shot.
long shot?
Yeah, that I picked twice against worse fields that got scratched on sloppy tracks. Scary. Such a tough game.
Brutal.
Race number 6.
It is a tough game. That's horses like that win. It's a tough game that you try to get home.
We'll show you High Command, who may be the speed in today's race. Doesn't break that sharply here. High Command is down on the inside. I wouldn't worry about play right. I should have circled that. It's just High Command. Breaks about a length slow and rushes up in here. I thought Playwright ran fine. This was a track that was extremely kind to speed, worked against Playwright, who ran well to be second. And I guess he's the worst to beat. I don't particularly like him, but he's the worst to beat.
Yeah, this was a tough race because this day, Big Mountain ran so well that I always have a hard time gauging what the rest of them are doing behind them. It happens tomorrow in the fourth race when Kumar ran away and hit from the 35, 3 lives last time.
Well, this was very much a race effort that was aided by the race.
Well, the racetrack, right. But what do you do behind that? You know what I mean? Like, you see Playwright actually passing a lot of horses on that racetrack and making up some ground late.
He still ran his race in a track that was against him, so I would move his race up.
Yeah,
I just think he's the worst to beat. I think he's an A on any ticket, and he's way the worst to beat.
Yeah.
I'm not betting him.
Do you worry, not to worry, but do you think, I feel like he's going to take enough money
He's
where
7 to 5 morning line.
Yeah, he's got to be. He'll probably be under even money today.
No, I think
you don't think so.
I think that you expect a lot of horses to be super short prices, and I don't think that you respect how hard that is. You know, yesterday's first race, you thought that horse was going to be odds on. She was 2 to 1 in that race.
That board was crazy.
I understand, but I think it takes a lot, and there's a certain randomness to horses that go off at odds on. And no, I don't think Playwright's supposed to be odds on in this race.
I didn't say supposed
He's not
to be,
exactly. I don't think he
thought
will
would
be. He's not exactly a winning type, and he's a deep closer. Those horses often aren't as short. I think a lot of the horses that are super short prices are much more forwardly placed type horses. So I'm not saying I'll fall out of my chair if he pays $380, but I think 7 to 5 is about the right price for him.
Okay.
I don't, assume. I think there are other horses here. Listen, you like BB Banker. I don't like BB Banker in this race. Why do you like him? And he's second choice morning line.
Yeah, I know, and I was a little surprised by that. It's not that I don't trust.
Well, who's going to get bet more heavily than him? Well, if you were surprised by that, you know that neither the 4, the 5, 7, and 8 can be bet more than him. Not the 2.
High Command is going to take a lot of money in here based on the thinking that he's supposed to be.
I think Oscar Gomez will be the second choice.
He's supposed to be on a loose lead in here, isn't he?
No. I think your horse is going to be sitting right with him. I think other horses have some speed in here. I think there's going to be. You don't think that Tiz Game is going to show some speed? You think Linda's stretching this horse out of a mile and telling Jose, take him back?
He's the wild card in here.
Well, he's never run a race that makes him competitive.
Right.
And it's Linda, but forgetting about where you think he may finish.
I thought about putting him on top.
Okay, well,
just because I don't trust Playwright. I don't want Playwright at even money, whatever price he's going to be. Do I really trust BB Banker? No. Do I want High Command? You know what I mean? I thought about putting this horse on top, and then ultimately I just looked at his dirt form, and it's.
So High Command has Finger Lakes form that you trust. Is that a new tie, by the way? I like the tie.
I don't know, Mom. I think Mom got it.
Mom picked that up?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it looks good there.
Purple tie action, yeah.
You didn't know the color when you put it on?
I knew what color it was.
You just reached in like blindly?
I knew what color it was. I mean, High Command at the very least is going to be on the lead in here. And I don't trust these horses.
I'm not confident that he is, but
okay.
Maybe he will. I like the one, Shock Therapy, in here as an alternative to the favorite Playwright. He's got some pretty good races going back, and I think he's been compromised, been running against significantly better horses than these. And I thought that maybe this pace would be honest enough that a horse like him could make his run in here. So I'll take a shot that Shock Therapy makes his run. I thought he was a reasonable alternative to Playwright. I'll key the 1 and 4 as A's and have other horses as maybe a B or a C's most likely. I just thought the 1 and 4 were the right 2 in here. I was hoping the race came apart a little bit in the end. See what happens in race number 6. Race number 7. It's got a stakes field. We've got a number in here that are coming back that were scratched out of the whatever the stake was last weekend. What was
the Jazzle.
Jazzle. How could I forget the Jazzle?
I don't know.
How many stakes are named for horses that never won a race after like a Triple Crown race?
Is there a Datara?
No, there's no.
Is there a Monarchos?
There's no Fleet Alex. There's no.
Well, they didn't run, so it's a little different.
Well, he never won a race after Brown.
Jazzle ran.
Smarty
Tara ran.
Jones.
They all.
There's a Smarty Jones. There's 2, right? One in Parks and one at Oaklawn.
Yep.
Take a look at Anthony's favorite horse, Sir Winston, winning his his Belmont Stakes.
No reverse because I'm a schmuck.
One of the world's greatest rides by Joel Rosario.
Top 5 ride of all time.
Certainly one of the best big race rides I've ever seen.
Amazing ride.
Fully aware of the rail, unlike perhaps some other riders in this race, but they didn't have a chance. There were only 3 straight days of a gold rail, so why would I have picked it up by them? They're only the theoretically best riders in the country. There is a problem by a lot of riders picking up on biases.
Yes.
there's some riders that are very good at it. Regardless,
Joel Rosario.
is he going to get enough pace to close into? Obviously, you don't think so because you took the speed.
I did. You know, I don't know what to do with this. To me, this game, the game for this horse may simply just be real estate, and I don't know if a mile's long enough. That's you know, kind of what it was. I kind of expected him when we got all the rain we were supposed to get.
Yeah, you and I have a very different opinion about distances.
Yeah, we do.
I just think if he gets enough pace and he's good enough, he'll get it done in a mile.
Listen,
Honor Code won a
he's
6.5
supposed to get
furlong.
enough.
Honor Code broke his maiden at 7 first time out, and he won a 6.5 furlong prep in his first start.
There's difference between horses that exude class, and I mean, I don't think we're ever going to.
So you don't think
offense,
Sir Winston?
No offense, I don't think
class?
we're ever going to confuse Honor Code with Sir Winston.
Just giving you examples.
I understand what you're doing, and I'm just trying to say that for me,
Who are the greatest stakes horses in this field? Remind me. I mean, I'm just wondering. This horse did win the Belmont Stakes.
That's not the point. You don't have to tell me that he won the Belmont Stakes. Nobody has more respect for the Belmont than me. But what I'm saying is, there are times where you have to realize this horse won the Belmont Stakes.
The mascot.
In part,
You're saying that you have
and
more respect
more
than he
in
does?
part, because the race is a mile and a half than any other reason.
Okay. You and I have a very different view of racing in general, and I don't.
You don't even have him on a board.
I don't like this horse. I don't think he's that good. I think he got lucky in the Belmont Stakes. I'm also not convinced he's going to be favored here. Now, you like Leotone? Is it?
I just call him Leotone.
Okay, I've never. I think I pronounced it incorrectly. Johnny pronounced it a different way, and he's normally right. This is him wiring a field at Belmont. You like him. I don't. I don't like this horse.
Well, we're gonna
total phony.
Well, you and I are gonna have one of our age-old arguments here. This horse is one-turn races. Layover is two-turn races.
Well, that's also not true.
No,
because the mile and eighth race at Saratoga is actually one of the best
the
races.
mile and eighth race at Saratoga, we ran 14 points slower than the race at Belmont.
Anthony, he was on a. If you actually, there's this thing on the website, and I take it a little personally because I spend a good 5 to 10 minutes or 15 minutes a day.
Ahead.
No.
Right,
I don't know if you've heard it called track trends.
I got it.
Well, you don't because you never look at it. This horse was on a super.
What about June 16th?
He was on a. No. He was on a super gold rail when he ran the 104 buyer. Who cares he won by 12?
When he ran an 86 buyer, which is...
he was also, I believe, on a gold rail that day. He's as phonied up a horse as you could possibly find.
We better stop with they might go... Listen, while they're doing the construction, they may go take the rail down at Belmont Park and try and melt it down.
Do you think that this horse... I don't know what that means, but do you think this horse's effort in the Claiming Crown Jewel is going to win this race? I'm just curious, because I don't. Listen, David likes this horse too. I don't like this horse at all. I know it's Jason Service, so he'll probably go out and run a race he's never run before. But this horse is as phonied up, in my opinion, as a horse could be.
I'll tell you the one thing about the Claiming Crown Jewel that I think is good.
Would you like holiday bonus in here?
No, but
give me 50 to 1.
Here's what I like about the race in the Jewel. He sat off, and there's enough horses in here that if he wants to sit, he can now sit. He shouldn't. He absolutely should not.
You weren't. Were you drinking before? Were you drinking before the show? Anybody?
I'm good.
Johnny, do you want to give him a breathalyzer?
Well, let me ask you a
You're
question.
out of your mind. He's so much the speed in this race. If
What
he's
are they
not in
gonna
front
do
of this
with-
race,
what are they gonna
then you
do
could
with- hold on
totally
a
throw him
second.
out.
What are they going to do with Brass Compass? Time in the gate?
He'll sit
Stretching
second
out?
to Leotone.
He'll sit second to Leotone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. We disagree about this horse.
Listen, I'm with you. He should be on the lead, but he doesn't have to be.
I actually think the horse to beat in here is the 5 Musical America.
Well,
I know he's the last time was the time. I actually think Grump's Little Tot is pretty good. And
he's a useful horse,
he
this horse.
dusted Grump's Little Tot last time out. His last race was good.
He's a useful horse.
Grump's Little Tot is okay.
He runs dirt, turf.
Just embarrassed that horse in this race.
He got a good setup, though, didn't he? I mean, maybe he's going to get the same setup. I don't know.
Isn't he tactically well placed in this race?
Yeah.
Could somebody turn the heat up in here, by the way?
It's hotter than it was when we got, I don't know, and I shut it off. Listen, the problem is, off that last race,
I'm actually sweating.
So am I. Off his last race, which was, I think we'll agree, was his best race.
Yes.
Probably by far.
He's got to run back to it.
Right.
He was the last time was the time horse, but if he runs back
quick.
If he runs back to his last race, no, I agree. Guys, roll back to race 7. We haven't even discussed my picks, please. We got time. Thank you. Justin, got a little ahead of yourself. You know I'm taking Small Bear here out of deference to my man Mike Beer, who picked him in the Jazzle. I actually think that Small Bear showed in his last race that there's still some life in his legs. I thought he made a nice middle move. You know, it's only his second race basically in a year, and his first race off a 3-month layoff. I thought he made a nice little middle move in there. He's got to get the pace, and I thought he was a very interesting horse. He's got races
Would
here
you
and
want
there.
holiday bonus in here?
I don't. The holiday bonus that was running then? Yes. Not the holiday bonus that's running then. Here's the difference between you and I. I looked up holiday bonuses, PPs, leading into the Claiming Crown Jewel. You didn't. The holiday bonus that was running when Small Bear beat him, yes, he would be one of the favorites in this race. His current form is putrid. So no, I would take him off that one. That's Anthony. That was a really lame attempt to get me, and it was really just exposed that you haven't looked up the holiday bonus that's running now.
I don't need to
so
look
you
up.
should exit the conversation right now. Small Bear has a plethora of speed figures that are fast enough to win this race. And if he can reach to it, he is a live horse at a price. And I'll tell you what, I think he is a much better bet in this race at double digits. I do like Small Bear, but for a reason. No, all the time. I haven't picked him, since he won by a nose, 3 back. So forgetting about that. I picked him when he won a stake here and paid $19. Do you really want to play this game with me? I will tell you what, he is a more likely winner in this race than Leotone, who I think is the most ridiculous dressed up horse running on today's card. Race number 8, having got that behind us. Could they have scratched more horses out of race number 8? Now, we knew that the 6 was coming out. No, I mean, informed consent.
4 and 6 tomorrow.
Right, well, Wisecrack, what's the difference? I mean, but Just the War is running tomorrow.
No, Wisecrack's not in tomorrow. It's a mistake. 1 and 6 are in.
No, the 1's not in. The 1 was in yesterday.
6 was in.
The 1 was in yesterday. I thought Lita was going to run him here. She told me she was, so either he didn't pass the bet or something else.
Or informed consent.
I mean, here's Sneed. Sneeds will probably win this race, but I'm going to tell you something. Are we looking at Sneeds?
I couldn't do it.
What?
I couldn't pick him.
You did pick Sneeds.
I backed into him.
Yeah. Well, no, you scratched him. I understand. But I can't take him off this despicable hang, so I put Tom Morley's horse on top. And Tom, not yet a father for a second time, as Maggie is not.
They were tweeting pictures out last night. There was no kid.
I know. Well, I wish Maggie delivers. She's got to be tough to be 9 months in a week.
So I back
pregnant.
into Sneeds. How bad is this? How does this get beat that day?
This was disgraceful. This was a disgraceful loss, and I get it.
Rudy claimed the winner that day too, so that was a double. That was like double defeat because when you take the winner out of a maiden race, that's the last thing you want to see.
And he's come back and run horrendously in subsequent stuff.
Last thing you want to see is taking the winner out of a maiden race, and he beats him to boot.
Mr. Mike actually ran well last time. I think that race a little bit better than the figures suggest. I don't know if he's fast enough, but he's the only horse that I could take against Sneed.
He's been competitive since they've dropped him even in the 2 turf races.
A lot of the pick 5s are going to be singling into Sneed, and the truth about Sneed is he's a great single. Psychological. Well, he's a psychologically difficult single because it's the last race of the sequence. If you single, you want to almost get it over with early.
Psychologically speaking, yes, no question about that.
I had to pick 6 ones for $10,000. On a horse I singled in the last race.
He had a $3,900 pick 4.
Won by 15, the horse.
He had a Jimmy Jerkins horse in the last race at Belmont on a Sunday. He had a $3,900 pick 4, like a $24 ticket. That was the biggest thing I think I ever hit.
I think we got to show
into the last race.
Let's show that pick 5 slate and lace it in here. The late pick 5,
$46,314.
Races 4 through 8 carryover, and that's a real carryover. We're actually paying that out today, assuming somebody hits the late.
Guarantee you that money gets. Well, I shouldn't guarantee it because if they don't hit it,
right? But in all likelihood, it will be paid out. We paid out if the bet is hit, $1 million point hit and split, and also we have a cross-country pick 5 tomorrow as well. That will be races 8 and 9 here at Aqueduct, and the last 3 at Oaklawn. More on that tomorrow. Right now, the man, the voice of the New York racing, John Brielle.
Hello, racing fans, and once again, welcome to Aqueduct. Cloudy skies on this Friday here at the Big A. The main track is fast, temperatures in the mid-40s. We have a couple of carryovers today. Jackpot carryover in the Empire 6 is more than $252,000, and the carryover in the late pick 5 is more than $46,000. In today's first race, scratch number 5, Sweet Breeze. Scratch the 5, Sweet Breeze. Note that number 6, Hickory Maid, runs with no front shoes again, and a rider change on the 7, Funderella, to Relu Gutierrez. Relu Gutierrez rides the 7. Second race, a couple of changes for the 1, Racing My Father. Racing My Father is 2 pounds over and will race with no front shoes again. Scratch number 2, Tourbillon Rose. Number 6, Women Not Easy, 1 pound over. Scratch the 7, Grape Therapy. Second race, scratch numbers 2 and 7. In the third race, scratch the 3, Keep Your Distance. Scratch number 3, Keep Your Distance.